Nikki, and I am here doing the large family tag. And so I saw this and I thought that it would be kind of fun to do. So I actually have the questions right here. Hold on, I'm trying to get to them. Okay, so I have the questions right here, and I will type them out and put them below if you want to do it too. If you do the large family tag, go ahead and put a link to your video down below and I will check it out. So it's 20 questions. So the first one is, how many kids do you have? I have 6 kids, and they are, Alex is 16, almost 17, Tyler is 15, almost 16, Melody is 14, Elizabeth is 6, almost 7, Riley is 5, and Jackson is 2, almost 3. So I have several spring birthdays and a couple of fall birthdays. So what are their ages? Oh, I just told you that. So that was number 2, what were their ages? Number 3, what is your family structure? Not really sure the meaning of this one, but our family structure is that my husband and I have been married for almost 18 years, and we have all 6 kids. I gave birth to 3 of them, and we adopted 3 of them. How old were you when you had your first baby? I was 21 when I got pregnant and 22 when I had him. Were they all planned by you and your partner, or did you leave it up to God? Yeah, I guess we kind of just left it up to God. Really, we didn't plan on getting pregnant right at the very beginning of our marriage, but we did. And then my boys were only 12 months apart, so clearly we didn't plan that one either. We did try for Melody, and so she was technically planned. We wanted a 3rd one by then. And then we tried to have a baby for 8 years after that, and we didn't, and then we chose to adopt our 3 next. So what is your favorite reaction to telling someone how many children you have? My favorite one is when people, oh wow, okay then. I get a lot of that like at the grocery store when I have like a huge amount of groceries, but I didn't bring everybody grocery shopping with me. And they'll, wow, that's a lot of cereal. I'm like, well, I have 6 kids. So usually their response is, oh wow, okay. And I live in the South, or yeah, I live in Oklahoma. So I live in the South, and I think that it is a little more like understandable, like people more expect it out here than when we lived in California. Number 7. How do you handle negative comments? I don't usually get a lot of negative comments. I did in fact get one that I had all of my kids, and at the time we had 7 kids because we had another little guy living with us, and a lady, which I thought was totally rude, but I mean, I guess that's the nature of this question, said, well, do you know how this happens? And I said, yes, I like it too, because I love my husband. And my 16-year-old was just turned inside out. He couldn't believe that I said that to her, as was she. And my thought was, well, you don't really know my story or my life, and actually had 4 of them I hadn't even given birth to. So I do know how it happens. What does it cost to feed your large family? We do $100 per person per month as my general budget, and then I usually add in $100 normally, so that leaves us at $900 a month. But if it's like a holiday month like Easter or Thanksgiving or Christmas, I usually give us a $1,000 budget. Do you plan on having more kids? I would definitely like to. At least 2 more. I have always felt like I wanted 8, and I still do want 8. And my husband and I both know that we're definitely not finished yet. What is your large family vehicle? I drive a 92 GMC Rally Wagon. So I drive a huge blue bus. It's 15 passenger, and I love it. It's really old though, so it sounds really bad. Do you ever eat out? We do, but usually we try not to do it too often, but when we do, we have things like pizza from Little Caesars, which is like $5 pizzas, so I can get like 4 or 5 of them for relatively cheap. Or we have a hamburger place here in Oklahoma called Brahms, and they do bags of burgers where they do 5 hamburgers for $5, and so that works out for us. So that's a little bit better. But my husband and I try to go out to eat. My husband and I try to go out to eat or out on a date at least once a week. How much milk do you go through in a week? We go through 7 to 8 gallons a week. That's usually about 7.5 gallons of regular milk, and I do 2% milk. And then one of my daughters couldn't drink milk for a really long time, and she really doesn't like the taste of it now that she can. She doesn't like the taste of it. She's only been able to drink milk for about 4 years now, and so she drinks coconut milk. Let's see, how many rolls of toilet paper do you go through each day? Probably 2. Yeah, that's a really weird question, but probably 2. Maybe 3, I guess, if they're busy. I don't know. What is your favorite go-to meal? We do spaghetti is a general go-to, tacos, chili, and let's see, chicken and dumplings. Usually just big hearty mealed ones. I recently bought 2 pigs to have in my freezer, and so we've been eating pulled pork a lot, like whether it's in something or pulled pork sandwiches or whatever, because I have several pork roasts, so we've been doing that a lot lately too. How do you spend one-on-one time with each of your children? So I homeschool my children, so frankly I think that this is easier for me than it would be if my children were not homeschooled, because they are I'm with my children all the time. It is a little harder for my husband, although he tries to bring the teenagers out to his office at least once a week, just to kind of have time with them, and he tries to play with each one of the little ones. But for me, I usually try to bring them, like I'll bring one grocery shopping with me, and then go bring them home, and then if I have another errand to run, I'll bring a different one, and so I try to do that just so that we have our one-on-one time together. And then Melody and I actually have a life group together, so that's like a small group that our church does. And so Melody and I are actually doing 2 of them together, and so we're going to be starting one that's called Virtue. So it's like going to be her age range, like 14 to 17-year-old girls, and talking about being a virtuous woman, and I'm going to be leading that. And then we also scrapbook together, so it's a little bit easier for me to spend like alone time with her, just because we do that kind of stuff. And then Jackson is my cuddle bug, so he's super easy to spend a lot of time with because he will just cuddle with me. But I try to take them individually out each week by myself as I run different errands. Sometimes the errands are real short, but they like just sitting in the car talking with me. How do you manage the clutter? I am still figuring this out. So you'll probably see, like in some of my other videos, I've been like super decluttering and throwing out stuff and getting rid of stuff, and so and just cleaning out the clutter. We spent all day today cleaning out clutter, and so that's what I'm trying to do, just trying to be more organized and just get rid of the stuff that we're not really using. Our hardest part is clothes, because 8 people is a lot of clothes, and so especially as kids are growing and like changing sizes so much, so that's the toughest one. And I just feel like I'm constantly going through everybody's dressers getting rid of clothes. Let's see, 17, do you homeschool, private school, or public school? I homeschool my children. I always have. We decided to homeschool when our oldest was 2.5, and he's a senior in high school this year. So we've always done it. How do you manage the chaos? I kind of like the chaos for the most part. I'm an introvert though, and so I do at least every day need to have like down quiet time. So even though none of my children nap anymore. Jackson's not a super good napper, he never has been. And so I would rather him go to bed early than nap and be crabby afterwards, which is what happens. But I do have them all have like an hour and a half to 2 hours of quiet in the middle of the day. So like my older ones will go read in their rooms, like do their own activity or whatever in their rooms from like 2 to 4, and my little ones will lay down and maybe watch a movie or will read books or whatever, but I personally just need that quiet, and then I can maintain the chaos and it doesn't bother me. I actually feel like it's a little weird when I don't have all my kids, like if like some of them go see grandparents or a friend or whatever, it feels weird and off to me to not have my kids in my house all the time. What do you do if you get free time? Hang out with my husband. I really like him. So that's kind of really what I do when I have a little bit of free time, is I'd rather hang out with him. I do love to sing, so I sing on our worship team. I love photography and scrapbooking, so I do that. A lot of that involves with my family, but yeah, so, and I do like to read a lot. If I can, I will go get myself lost in a bookstore for a couple of hours, and that would be pretty good for me. And then the last question is, what's your number one tip for other large family moms? Take it minute by minute. And I think that goes for any mom. Anytime you're a mom, things can go like this so fast. And so I have to just remind myself all the time, and I'm not good at it all the time, but I try to remind myself to just be in the moment with my children and try not to overthink everything in that moment, if that makes sense. Like, you know, if one of them is having a rough day and is crying and is having all these issues, trying not to let that overwhelm me and get my emotions escalated, but instead just try to be like, okay, either I have to leave you alone or figure out what's wrong with you, or just move on from there. So I would say any mom, definitely take it minute by minute, enjoy those moments with your kids. And then large family, I think, let's see, get on a laundry schedule. And I just started this, so I am as much speaking to me as I'm speaking to all other large family moms, but get on a laundry schedule. So just starting in January, and we've been doing it for 4 weeks now, and it's working out great, is we don't do everybody's laundry all together anymore. I have always, since day one, just done everybody's laundry together, whatever it was, just gone and done it. This year in January, I decided to split it up. So on Mondays, mom and dad have laundry day, and so I do our laundry. That's the only laundry that's done. On Tuesdays, it's all the little kids. I do all their laundry. Wednesdays is Alex, Thursdays is Tyler, Fridays is Melody. And the 3 teenagers have to go do their own laundry. If they don't do their laundry on their laundry day, they don't have clean laundry. And then Saturdays we're doing towels and bedding, and that's leaving Sundays free and a clean laundry room. And so that has made a much happier mommy. And so that would be my number one for large families, is do it that way. Get a good laundry schedule. And I know, like, if you have more than 7 people in your family, it's gonna be hard. Maybe you have to double them up or whatever. Like, I have mom and dad on one day, and I have all 3 little ones on one day. I'm sure that as they grow, I'll have to be like, you know, a teenager and a little kid on this day and a teenager and a little kid on this day, but we'll just change it as it goes. So that is everything. I will leave the questions below so that you can do it. Go ahead and comment Tell me about your family and go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.